You said you were still trying to find your Bachelorette footing, which I totally get. I think any of us can attest to that. Like the first couple weeks is fun and nerve-wracking and just the anticipation of what's to come. Like that's all so much. But when did you feel like you fully like found your footing where you're like, okay, I got this. I have the hang of things now. Like I'm finding my voice. I'm finding my way.
I honestly felt really good during cocktail parties, during after parties, during one-on-ones. It was the group dates that was the real stinger for me because just past experiences and other emotions that come from that kind of started to bubble to the surface a little bit with just how group dates were going. And it took me a minute to find my footing. I don't know if it was my footing to find. Basically, going into that first week on group dates, the guys really struggled to make connections during the group date. And I really brought to the light that I wasn't wanting attention. I was wanting them to go out of their way and like have a conversation with me because I felt like I was seeking the men out and having conversations and trying to get to know them. But when I didn't go over to them to start the conversation, they were hanging out with each other and wouldn't come over and talk to me. Whether that they were nervous, they weren't trying to figure out, like they weren't able to, you know,
they weren't pursuing you. They weren't pursuing you.
Yes. And it was, yeah. And I think that was like the hardest thing where I'm like, I need to see that you want to continue to get to know me during these group dates. Like you can't just think on the after party time. That's not how this works because group dates, like you spend a lot of time in group dates. That's precious time. And I kind of had asked for that, and it wasn't being reciprocated. And then there's definitely a moment where it just kind of hits me. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Oh, man.
Group dates are really tough to juggle. And it's for the guys, but also for you. And like you were saying, like, I feel like group dates are really fun because there's like a lot going on and the guys can kind of be silly. But then there's like bromance almost happens. And you're like, okay, that's all fun and games. But like,
you're here to meet people.
You remember me? And I think... Yeah. And I think you were kind of experiencing that a little bit. And like the guys, whether it be, let's just say they were a little intimidated or like they didn't know that they could go like come up to you and just like have a conversation. Like they need to make the most of every single moment they have as opposed to, like you were saying, just the cocktail parties at night. And you were kind of experiencing that back to back to back. And it was kind of like, okay, so do you really want to try or do you need to constantly have me come up to you? And I think that that's something that was really frustrating because also, what woman wants to vocalize that? You know, like, hi, I'm still over here by myself. And y'all are bromancing over there. So it's just, I think it was really frustrating for you. And it was really hard. But I'm glad you spoke up because I think it changed after that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely did.